Usually, stories in fighting games are an excuse to get you up to speed with its gameplay. However, in Mortal Kombat 11, the story is one of the most interesting facets. In fact, it's a reason to keep coming back. Without getting into spoiler territory, Mortal Kombat 11 ties up the plot threads from the last two games. Its story mode begins right where the last game ended, and there are numerous callbacks to the past games too. Of course, you wouldn't miss out that much if you don't remember what happened in the previous games or have never played them at all. But there are certain moments in the story mode that will have a better impact if you play through the past games. With 23 fighters right off the bat, 24 if you receive Shao Kahn as a pre-order bonus, it's an assortment of old and new characters. Fan favorite Melina, who was killed off in Mortal Kombat 10 story mode, is not back from the dead in this one, much to our disappointment. It seems a bit odd initially that Kronika, the first ever female boss in Mortal Kombat series, has been left out of the playable roster, but once you fight her in the game's story mode, the reason for that becomes quite clear. As for the gameplay itself, if you spend enough time with Mortal Kombat 10 or even Injustice 2, Mortal Kombat 11 will feel immediately accessible. Special moves are easy to implement with simple inputs like down forward button press or back forward button press and so on. In terms of stringing together a combo attack, there isn't any grand change in the formula. The series trademark fatalities are back in Mortal Kombat 11 too. You have multiple fatalities per character, each delivering a different mix of torture, decapitation, disembowelment, and the works, all delivered in the over-the-top style that keeps it a step away from becoming too realistic. As for pulling off a fatality, it requires a combination of button presses that are slightly more complex than special moves. There are easy fatalities on offer as well that simplify the process to just a couple of button presses. Fatalities aside, brutalities are back as well. These are visceral finishing moves you can execute when your opponent is near death, though they still come with prerequisites. There are other visual breaks offered by showing you slow motion X-ray implementations of certain moves like an occasional uppercut or when using one of the stage elements to smack your opponent, or even when you pull off fatal blows, which seem just as over the top as fatalities. In Mortal Kombat 11, each fighter has more moves than ever before to the point that you are encouraged to create a variation of each character with movesets that will make the most of your fighting style. There are 3 slots per fighter for additional special moves, and you're presented with a list of moves that may take up 1 or 2 of these slots. This gives you the option to really hone your skills with a set of characters whose moves are truly customizable. The game is packed with gear that not only makes cosmetic changes to a fighter, but can also level up and become more powerful as you use the said fighter. To get all this loot, you'll have to go through the crypt and towers mode. Not everything is immediately accessible though, as you have to spend combat coins, hearts, and souls as currencies to unlock loot. These can also be won by playing more matches in any of the game modes offered in Mortal Kombat 11. You have the option to buy these combat coins using real money, but in our playthrough we found that quite unnecessary. As for the towers mode, each character comes with a unique story arc and an ending that you can unlock here. It has a predetermined roster of enemies that you are up against. While these are par for the course, what's new is it lets you use modifiers to give you an edge in the matches, in case you're finding the opponent too tough. Apart from this, Mortal Kombat 11 multiplayer was a mixed bag. The connection was largely stable through the matches, but there were some instances where we faced noticeable lag in the middle of the fight. This could be due to various reasons, but the important part is instead of skipping through the moves like in other fighting games, the action slowed down to the point where we could still execute the moves and understand what's happening as opposed to the game freezing or skipping over the passage of play. Hopefully this improves when the game is out this week. The game looks highly detailed and gorgeous, and a lot of work has been put into making each of these characters look good. This extends to many stages of the game too. They're brimming with little details like blood staying on certain surfaces like wood and stone and getting absorbed in sand too. Unlike the dull, off-focus backgrounds used in Mortal Kombat 10, here the details are sharp. In fact, a bit too sharp, as you can tell the trade-offs made to keep the fights going at 60 FPS. While Mortal Kombat 11 gives you more control, modifies just about every aspect of how you play this game, and keeps gameplay tight for the tournament crowd, it leads us to wonder what's next. Currencies seem questionable. You are rewarded quite generously in matches, but having 3 different currencies for the crypt seems a bit much.